If you are experiencing struggles in productivity throughout your day, maybe you're feeling generally fatigued or tired or even unmotivated, or maybe you just don't feel like you have time for yourself. We're going to talk about how to win the morning and why that's so critical. So, I'm going to go over a morning routine that I have worked over time to develop that I found to be extremely productive, healthy, and has immense benefits for me. And the goal or the hope is that you can take something out of it for you that makes sense, that can work, that can benefit and help your life. Okay, so if I backtrack, the team and I, for the month of this previous month of October into November, have been doing a nutrition challenge where we're tracking our food intake. And what this has, one of the great benefits that have come out of it for me is I'm usually done eating around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and that's new for me. And what that's been doing for me is helping me in an area that I've struggled with in the past, and that's getting to bed at a decent time in terms of like, I want to get to bed at like 9:30, 10:30. And I would find myself falling asleep on the couch and waking up at like 1 or 2, going to brush my teeth, that broken sleep. And it was a pattern I developed. So this challenge has helped me break that pattern. And I find myself going to bed at 9 or 9:30 every night. And what that's helped me do in the bigger picture is wake up earlier. So I am now waking up anywhere from 4:15, 4:30, somewhere in that ballpark every day now. And that's given me an extra 2 to 3 hours a day to work on myself first, self-care, get in more workflow creative, and we'll break all that down in a moment. But 3 extra hours or so, I'll say 2 because I used to get up at 6:30. So I'll say 2 hours a day. And I've gained that across a week. So that's 14 extra hours that I now have available at my disposal. Okay, so let's go into what this looks like. So waking up at 4:30, and it's a natural wake up, like there's no alarm. And the pups get up with me. I let them out. First thing is I'll drink some water. I'll restart the hydration process because when you're sleeping, your body just goes through this dehydration process for 7 to 8 hours. Then as they go outside, I make coffee, and I drink coffee with I French press, and I will drink my coffee with MCT oil. And I was turned on MCT oil during a challenge I did last year where I wanted to eliminate dairy from my diet. It just wasn't agreeing with my system. And I was looking to get away from, or try something different than almond milk and things of that nature. And man, the benefits that I found through MCT oil have been great. My energy's great. I get this extreme level of clarity and focus and creativity of like this headspace I get into, after a cup. The benefits I wrote out here too that are just great. There's this aspect where it helps prevent bacterial growth in your stomach. So helps combat things that like you can't even physically see. Helps exercise performance, memory, and stress relief because there's antioxidants that help restore cell damage, and obviously heart health. So they come back inside after 5 minutes of doing their thing and the coffee's going, and then what happens next is I'll put on something auditory. That could be a YouTube video. It could be recently it's been going through a Tony Robbins like Get the Edge or some sort of like tape that I can learn. I'm very intrigued and just kind of obsessed with learning about human behavior, human psychology, understanding us human beings better. Not only for my own like personal benefit of like myself, but obviously with what I do in terms of helping and coaching other people. So I put that on audio wise so I can begin to start to listen to something as I'm waking up. And during that time, I spend about 8 to 10 minutes stretching. And I follow an app, GoWOD Mobility. And obviously it puts you through like a full mobility test. So it targets the areas that your body specifically needs. So within the first, 10 minutes, I've hydrated. I'm beginning the process of coffee to wake up and enjoy that while I'm stretching. And I'm beginning to listening to something empowering. No Facebook, no Instagram, no emails. It's kind of a rule I have built for myself where I don't do that for at least the first 90 minutes to 2 hours of my day. I don't want to start my day in reactionary mode. I want to start it with something empowering, something productive, something that's going to make me feel good. Real quick, a mistake I used to make was I would just jump right into work mode. And then what I found when I was like rereading my journal, which I'll get to in a moment, is when I would jump into work mode right away, I was super productive and I was putting out great stuff, content, XYZ. But I was feeling off, empty, that there was no my core. And what I realized is, and there's a note I wrote to myself that I kind of reread often, is when you get too far from self, you do not, like self and self-care, investing in self, you do not feel like yourself. You feel off. So that's something that I've brought back for me as a priority of like always working harder on myself, investing in myself. And it's the first thing in the morning, uninterrupted. So throughout this stretch, and I'm listening to something, something empowering, and that helps me learn, helps me grow, helps me understand. This isn't positive self-talk fluff. It's learning about human beings' needs and why people do the things that they do, so I can understand that, even myself. And it's actually led to me getting and working with a coach, this beautiful soul of a woman. Her name's Mandy, who's from California. And, we work together probably 2 to 3 times a month. And hands down, she's one of the top 3 most influential people in my life, and who's dramatically changed and improved and helped my life. And I never would have taken that step to invest in getting someone to help me work through some of my healing and all these areas of my life, and the tools that she gives me to help give back to others if I was not investing in self-care. So once I'm done stretching, I like to kind of pause the audio for a moment sometimes and maybe pull open a book or something. And I'm going to come back to the audio because the audio is big. I open a book or something that, I want to direct my focus on. And for me, again, it's in that realm of like learning, developing. Right now, it's never a lot. It's maybe like 5 to at most 15 pages of something to just kind of like slow that process down because of where I'm going to go next. And that right now is Lodro's book. And it's called Take Your Mind Back, or Take Back Your Mind. Yeah, Take Back Your Mind. And great, Lodro, he's amazing. He comes to our gym, and his book is so great. And not that I'm an anxious person, but what this book has helped me do is realize the importance of connecting with my breath, connecting with meditation, of what that means to me, and the valuable nuggets that I've gained along the way. And I've been chipping away at this book slowly. And I think it's valuable for anybody out there because, again, mindset, headspace is so critical. I think it's the most underlooked, underrated, this area that is undervalued. And I know it's helped me through some crazy stressful times. And it just keeps coming back of how powerful the mind is. Is this like a dog hair floating? I see in the video here. So I'll read a little bit of that, and that calms me back down. And then that sets me up nicely. When I say calms me down, what I mean is the audio kind of gets me in this like really excited, juiced up place where I'm like, whoa, like I'm learning these things and I'm going to start to write things down, and how can I apply this? And then the reading slows me back down, because where I go next is I stop the reading after 5 to 15 pages. I put my phone out and I hit the timer, and I begin to do my own version of meditation, which is really connecting to my breath, focusing on exhaling, inhaling, and I'm super aware of like a cloud, like whoop, there comes this thought. Oh, there's that thought. And I let the thought go. I let it pass, and I realize where my headspace is. And it could be a stress or something that's on my mind about work related. It could be something just that's been on my mind lingering, that just like, I'm like, oh, there it is. Like, wow, like that's something that's kind of just doing circles in my head, and I let it go. And I do that for about 5, sometimes up to 10 minutes of just connecting to breath. And there's so many benefits that we all know or should know about your breathing and your parasympathetic nervous system and releasing things and calming you back down. And I felt my best when I do this regularly. So this is something the 5 to 10 minute meditation is something that I'm working really hard to bring back regularly. Once that's done, I begin to go into writing or journaling mode. And something that I uncovered recently that was really cool, this was through a podcast with a gentleman named Ben Bergeron, was he was speaking about these 4 pillars that we all have and should routinely check in on. And for me, it's been a great area to invest in continually writing in. And the 4 pillars are: how are you living? How are you showing up loving, learning, and leading? So those 4, and to me, those 4 equal your legacy, who you are as a person. And so each day I'll write those 4 out. And example, so to you guys give you some context here, is live for me is like taking the 5 minutes to meditate, to connect with, calming me back down so I can show up better. It's eating wholesome nutrients that are going to help me be healthier, live longer, feel better. The stretching, the plugging in the class I'm going to take today, like moving my body. So those are like categories that okay, this is going to happen today and live. Love. First, and this is an area that I'm working on, is self-love. So maybe writing something that I can love or that I do love and appreciate about myself. And for example, here, it's like today I wrote commitment to growth. My commitment to growth is something that I love about myself. I wrote, here, check in with Nolan. How can I show up? The question I actually have later is, how can I, where are the places today that I can be a better significant other? Great question to ask myself. I know Brittany has something rather stressful happening today, so how can I show up for her? Then there's the learn category. The learn, obviously the audio that I'm listening to and what could I extract from that? I wrote even here, engage with questions with people. The learn to me is always like, it happens throughout the day. There's strategic things that I want to go and learn into in terms of a podcast or the audio tapes, but then with people, it's so broad. And lead, today I have a one-on-one with a gentleman, Seti. So my goodness, I'm prepped, have an amazing one-on-one, lead him closer to his goals. I wrote here, put first things first. So one of the other things that I do, guys, that again is super helpful is I map out my week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I fill in like the things that I know are going to happen that day. Like on Sunday, I do this. So I know, okay, I'm going to coach the 10 here. I have a one-on-one here. I need to block off these like this time period here. And what is that going to be time blocked for? And that's super helpful for me for staying on track. Time blocking, not wasting my time with things that are unimportant or distracting. Life is constantly throwing distractions at you. So that's something that's been super helpful too. So mapping out the week for me on Sunday and kind of like filling in as I go and time blocking. Like today, I know once the afternoon hits, I have to block off this hour for business metrics and getting the financials in order. Then from there, working on this policy / SOP area, things that, some of the things I don't want to do, but I time block it and I give myself a lot of time. And that helps me stay on track. From that writing window, like right now, it's a little past 5:30. What I'm going to do after this video is I'm going to go back into listening more to the audio that I mentioned earlier, and that again is through Tony Robbins that I've been listening to. Really resonate with a lot of things that I hear and how to help folks empower themselves. Obviously, empower yourself. Once I feel like I'm at a good place with that, whether that's another 20, 30, 45 minutes, it sparks something creatively. So then from there, I go into work mode. And usually that kicks off somewhere at like 6:30 to anywhere from 6:30 to 8:30, 8:45. So a good 2-hour block of work. That could be writing a blog. That could be, I try to use that energy that I've carried through the morning, excuse me, into something that is creative and obviously productive in that realm. And I try to leave the tasks, task accomplishment, policies, working on some sort of narrative or even messaging or metrics, things of that nature. Even like in the later in Thursday, I have finalize next week's programming and obviously the remote programming, things of that nature. But at time block it all. So, and then this will lead me to about somewhere in the morning, depending on what my morning looks like. Then it's time to get my food prepped, shower, and head to the gym. So I hope this was helpful for you to identify some things that can be of use to help you how to win your morning, be more productive, not feel rushed, embrace and enjoy, sleep better, improve your work performance, whatever that looks like for you. Obviously, better behavioral and nutritional habits have and will come out of that as well. The sense of concentration and accomplishment is huge, and just giving you more time later in the day for things that are important. Maybe that's time with your family, connecting with your significant other, or down regulating, reading a book, or whatever that looks like for you. So waking up a little bit earlier. This is my morning routine, and I hope that you can take away something that you can add to yours. Take care.